the only reason that any of us can go out and march or voice our opinion, whether you agree with the person or not, you know, is because of the men and women that have gone and fought for our country and have paid the ultimate sacrifice for freedom to live in this country and to have the freedom of speech, and to be able to say things and not be persecuted, to be able to dress the way you want, to take on the establishment the way you want. That's great. And I've asked the SEALs about what's their thoughts on politically, and they're like, we fought for people to have freedom of speech. Do I agree with what a lot of people are saying? No. He's like, but that's what I fought for. So I'm happy that people have a place and can say what they want to say. That's what we fought for. It's like when we start taking that away from people, he's like, that's not what that spent 20 years, losing, my brothers over. And I think the SEALs and just the men and women that I've met over the years, their love for this country and is blown me away. I mean, when you really find out, like, you get into why somebody wants to go overseas and fight, and they may never come back because they believe in something that's much greater than them, and they want to take a stand for that. That's not taking a stand and marching the street and coming up with a chant. That's going into harm's way to protect what this is, what we have here, what you guys have in Canada, and it's scary in the times that we live in that this is being compromised now. Our ability to speak freely, or speak and say in any ways of what we want to say, and or that you can be canceled so quickly, or you can be without actual, proper investigation, that people can just say things, or things can be dug up from 15 years ago and people can get canceled. It's a crazy world that we live in, and that you have to almost in a sense mute yourself because you're afraid to say certain things, out of fear of cancellation, or somebody's feelings might get hurt or this. And, it's like, if everybody would just focus on stay in their lane and focus on the 3 feet in front of them and being a good person, we'd be all good. If less people would worry about what everybody else is saying and what not what they're doing, I think that's where the train's gone off the tracks a little bit. It's like so many people are worried about everybody else's business and they're not handling their own. They're not taking care of of themselves or they're just, it's just, I don't know. I'm sure it's frustrating for so many people, and especially you guys as well, that are, put stories out there and what you can publish and what you can't. But the one thing I've learned from the SEALs and the men and women is just, is that the ability to sacrifice for something that's great, like that's much greater than anything that you and I could do. It's not. I don't know. I don't think I could do that. I believe that there's you're born a warrior. Like, I think you actually genetically are a warrior, and I think those people that go off to war and fight, that's a certain type of man, a certain type of woman. I'll fight for the things they control, but going into a gunfight, no thanks. That's fucking crazy. And when you hear their stories of like what they're in, I'm like, I wouldn't be able to compute, like, and stay calm and like just have a conversation, and that's what these guys really go through. And then not only that, when they go through that, when they come back to society and they have to acclimate back to this craziness, and some of them, when they come back here, they see how crazy it is here, and they're like, fuck, I'd rather be on the battlefield. It's a lot more honest there, as they'll say, than here.
Wow.
So, but I've learned a lot, man, and it's I've gotten really passionate about it with a lot of the charities that I either sit on the board of, or I'm just very, very passionate about the veteran awareness and just the struggles that these guys go through when they come back from war, and there's no help. There's absolutely no help. There's the VA, but it's a broken system. And these guys have serious traumatic brain injury, and And if it's not documented properly, they don't get the right system. They're just given pills to take, and and there's a massive homeless situation with our veterans. And it's sad because you have we we owe them everything, but yet you know they're so easily forgotten. I mean, it's I mean all the marching that's done. Who's out marching for them? Who's out there saying, or for our men and women that have given us the freedoms that we have today? Who's out marching for them? So if I can help in any way with the platform that I have with the show, the show has been absolutely phenomenal. CBS is and Paramount Plus have really helped out a lot of vets. And on our show, there's over 60% of our crew are veterans, guys that have come back from war, literally have come to our show. They've gotten hired. All of our stunt doubles are former spots, former special operations. They've become writers on the show, producers. We've had veterans, some guys from Delta that were on our show that we started off as tech advisors, and by the third season, they were directing, they were producing. So we've done things on this show that no one in the history of television has ever done. So the show itself, other than the great friends that I've made and how proud I am of the quality of show that we made. I'm so proud to be a part of a show that's kept their word, because Hollywood is there's you get let down on Hollywood so much. So many people are so full of shit. But one thing they have not done is let our guys down. And we have men and women on our show that have served, and they've done right by them. So I'm very grateful to CBS and CBS VetNet that has really stood by our vets, and then really integrated our platform to bring awareness of the struggles that these guys coming home. Because what's great about our show is it's not just a show about the battle on the field. It's more so about the battle that they have at home and how hard it is to struggle with being a warrior and coming home and having traumatic brain injury and PTSD and all these different things, and how going back to society and these other issues that you have, how hard it is dealing with a wife and a child, and then being called back again and having to leave again, And I think we've done a hell of a job at showing that, peeling back the curtain a little bit and just sort of seeing a small piece of what these men and women go through and how hard it is for the families, the families of the people that serve, what they have to go through. These young moms that sometimes have, they will leave, and their dad will never has never met the baby. They'll have the baby while they're away, and by the time they get back, the baby's a year and a half. Like these guys go on long deployments. And it's just hard, and then the money that they get from the families get while their people are away is minimal. So they're struggling, and they're over there protecting, our country. So it's been an absolute honor to be a part of such a great show.